Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Keep Your Power, brought to you by Promise Resource Network. My name is Sharon Galuski, and I'm excited about today. We're going to talk about something that's near and dear to my heart that I have experienced so many times, and it is from hardship to joy. Sound good? Yeah, it does. But first, I want to talk to you about some of our services. Hi. Resource Networks provides a warm line, and our warm line is 24 holidays. It doesn't matter. If it's 3 o'clock in the morning and you need to talk to somebody, call us. If you need to vent, call us. If you need resources to get through a situation, call us. We're very good listeners. And sometimes we have resources that can help us get to the other side, right? To get from hardship to joy. So call us. It's free. It's confidential. The number 833-390-7728. That's 833-390-7728. All right, so give us a call. Give us a call. The other number I wanted to give you was our front desk number. When you call our front desk, if you need to talk to a specific peer support specialist or you need to get a message to them, call Kim. She is excellent at passing on messages. She will get the person for you short and sweet. Kim also can give you information about the services we provide. She can tell you all about Promise Resource Network and how we work, our philosophy, there's just the way we do things here and how different it is from other places. So call Kim. You need help. Her number is 704-390-7709. That's 704-390-7709. All right. So today in Keep Your Power, I think one of the greatest ways we can hold on to our power is getting from hardship to joy. All right, so let's talk about hardship first. Severe suffering is what it says. Severe suffering. If you're watching this, chances are you've had some suffering. Right? We've all been through some kind of hardship, some kind of difficulty, some type of hell that we had to walk through. I've always heard if you're going through hell, don't stop. Keep going. Get to the other side. Get to the joy. Right? So hardship is what we go through for some reason to get to joy. You know, they say that without rain, you can't sun. Well, that's true. True. And there are some ways that hardship affects us. For me, when I was going through my, I hate to call it a bottom, when I got to the point where my pain strong enough to make me willing. Right? To tell you a little bit about that, what I think brought me into recovery more than anything was loneliness, the hardship of being alone. I was working at a group home for people with special needs. And I was in charge, and which ought to scare you. And I was drinking very heavily. I was drinking alcoholically, right? Whatever that means. So one night, in the throes of my addiction, I was on call, which means that in case it happened in any of the group homes, the staff would call you and you would tell them what to do, right? So I took that very seriously, and I decided one night when I was on call that I was going to go out and have a walk with my friends. My friends were going out, have one drink, I'll go home, everything will be fine. So I go out to have one drink with my friends. A lot of Long Island iced teas later, I came to on the west side of town eating a chili dog. I used to love blackouts because it was like being teleported. You started here, and then all of a sudden you were over here, and you had no idea how you got there. Well, that was my experience. I came to at a Circle K with no idea what was going on. And I looked down, and my beeper had been going off for 2 hours, meaning that someone had contacted me, and I wasn't there. One of the individuals that I worked with almost went into a diabetic coma because staff didn't know what to do, and they couldn't get a hold of me. These individuals that I work with, the sick, wonderful people that lived in that home, trusted me, and I loved them, and I still hurt them. That was the end for me. That was enough hardship. That was enough hardship that I brought to other people. And the loneliness was the hardship that I couldn't bear anymore. So I shifted. Because of that pain of destroying my life and almost destroying other people's lives, I hit a bottom. I'd had enough. I'd had enough, and I began to take action to change my world. Right? That's how my recovery started. That's how my recovery from substances started. And it has been, since I got on the other side, it has been a festive journey. It has been a festive journey. And I will tell you that hardship came to me many, many more times in my recovery. That's when it gets real. That's when it gets real. I wanted to find some ways we could deal with hardship, right? So I found this information, 5 ways to deal with hardship and pain in life by Dr. Kahn. It says it's in getting back up and moving forward that counts the most when we need to deal with hardship, right? Standing firm, even though we don't know why we're standing, even though we don't know coming. What I'm doing now, standing, being accountable, being responsible for my life, changed everything. It changed everything. And it helped me deal with that hardship. I still had the consequences of my actions, right? However, dealing with people showed me how to do that. People showed me how to do that. But here's some tips. It says, reflect on the bad times in our lives. This may sound like a bad idea, but it does serve a purpose. We may feel depressed when thinking about past sorrows, but the idea behind reflecting on our past hardships isn't to run us down. It's to prove to ourselves that we've gotten through past hardships. Usually we're afraid that a tough time will break us. But when you think about the countless times you've actually gotten past what you thought was the worst experience in your life, only proves that you've gotten stronger. Allow those victories to be an opportunity for us to see beyond the baggage in front of us. They told me when I get in that space of thinking that I can't get through this, inevitably will tell me, well, darling, you've gotten 100% of the suffering you've had in the past, which totally blows my pity party. But it's true. It's true. If you're alive, you have gotten through every hardship up to now simply because you lived. You lived. 100% of the time you've gotten through. 100% of the time I've gotten through. And that helped me understand my strength, right? I didn't quite believe as much, but I did understand it better, right? It says, write or talk about how you feel. Keeping our thoughts to ourselves used to plague us and make us feel alone. But when we found someone who actually genuinely cared about us, it became natural to share how we felt with them. And that contributed immensely to my ability to overcome troublesome situations. This gentleman, not only did I speak to her, I felt, I also decided to believe it and talk about it to strangers, about their issues that make them, that are difficult for them. In fact, it's what therapists regard as winning strategy, the ability to be neutral and use their lack of personal relationship with you as a means of helping. It doesn't matter if you want to talk, sing, write, however you want to talk about how you feel. Just get it off your chest, and the weight on your shoulders won't seem to be so crippling. And the weight on our shoulders seem to be so crippling. Sorry, hard time with that word. Get those feelings out, however we need to do. I need to be able to vent. I need to be able to get out that anger, that fear, that self-doubt, I need to be able to talk through these things so I can get on the other, right? Tragedy causes a wound, and I can stay wounded all of my life. Part of the way we can begin to heal that wound is by talking about how we feel, and like write about it, dance about it, sing about it, whatever we do to get it out of us, right? Detach yourself from this. It can be overwhelming when we're in the middle of a heated argument or office politics, and there's no way we'll be able to make a rational decision when caught in the midst of a fight. They say that running away from our problems will never help. And though that's partially true, it doesn't mean to submerge ourselves deeply into the situation that you run out of air to breathe and lose the ability to weigh the pros and cons. That happens more than we'd like to admit, which is why it's important to detach ourselves from a situation long enough to think clearly without having people hanging over our shoulders. This helps because we have a break to think things through. In cases like this, a lot of thought is needed. Detach from it. Take a time out. We talk about that. Take a time out. If things are getting too intense, step away. Right? When we allow that space between us and the people and the situation and the hardship, when we allow that space, sometimes we can think more clearly when we're not in the middle of it, right? Especially when there's other people involved. So take a step back and think. We can figure our ways through things sometimes. I love this one. Remind yourself you're not alone. It's easy to curl up in a ball and feel like our world is closing in from loneliness. And it's hard to remember that there's definitely someone out there who loves us. I know, in fact, that, hold on, even if it's just one person, that's enough to give us reason to remind ourselves that we will never truly be alone. Sometimes it's strangers who may share the same feelings we do. Think about it. You may not know any of yours personally, but they could be in the exact same situation. In fact, no one is truly alone. I like that. I always looked for acceptance and love. And even today, I've got to remind myself that I can go to someone that I know for acceptance and love. I have some good people in my life, some really, really good people in my life that can help me not be alone, that can help me not feel like. And have you ever been in a room full of people and felt so alone? I felt that. I've got to remember today that I'm alone, that there are people in my life that care. There are people in my life that will support me. Some of us, especially in the beginning of our recovery, have a difficult time because we are alone. In the beginning, I was alone because I had burned so many bridges, right? So the people weren't there for me. However, when I walked into a 12-step meeting, I felt at home. And that's just me. That's what I used to begin my recovery. But I felt at home. Everybody in there probably, or at least most of the people, wanted not to drink that day. Relate to that. I could relate to that. And I knew it was where I needed to be because I found that acceptance and love. As a result of that, I learned how to get through hardship. I learned how to get support, right? I had to learn these things because I didn't know. Every time I went through prior to recovery, I thought it would kill me. I thought it would kill me. To be perfectly honest, it almost did. But I wasn't alone then, and I'm not alone now. Even in the most difficult times that I had, something bigger than me, whether you want to call it a higher power, God, the universe, whatever, something bigger than me kept me alive, gave me an out, helped me get through those hardships. I could learn how to do it better myself, right? Accept the results and get back up again, only stronger. It's time to come to terms with what happened. Regardless of whether the results of our prove to be helpful or not, it's time for us to accept them and back up. This time we have a new experience to add to our book of life. So the next time something tries to knock us down, it won't be as easy because we're strong and determined to push forward. Life will go on. We'll never stand still, and it rests upon us to make the right decision of moving forward. Don't be or what if circumstances. Things are done for us to see that we may have a few battle scars, but we certainly have gained a lot more character. Get back up. It doesn't matter how many times we fall. It matters how many times we get up. Get up. We are stronger now as a result of these difficulties. I got through this. I learned something. I learned how my thoughts, feelings, actions affect me. I learned what not to do next time because I screwed it up this time. I learned not to have to go through that pain. And I learned that from the people that were doing it. I didn't know how to be a friend. I didn't know how to be a partner. I didn't know how to love. I didn't know how to pray. I didn't know how to get through things. Just because I never learned. Every time prior to recovery that I went through something, I went through it again. Trying the same thing over and over again, expecting results. I'd do it again. I wouldn't learn. I wouldn't get stronger. I never made it through the other side. Right? We're walking through hell. Keep going. Got to get back up. We get back up, we are stronger. So much stronger than we were before because we survived. Remember, we survived 100% of the shit that we've been through. 100%. All I got to do is get up one more time. Right? Get up this time. Get up this time. And the next time may be easier because we're stronger. Right? Don't waste any pain. Try not to waste anything that I can learn from. And a lot of that has to do with pain. A lot has to do with pain. And I don't want to go there anymore. I don't want to be the one to have to learn this lesson over and over and over and over again, like I did back in the day. I couldn't step away. I couldn't not be alone. I couldn't learn. I couldn't vent. All those things we talked about. I simply couldn't do because I didn't know how. And I had to learn. And that's the beautiful thing about recovery. We can grow. Love that. In our strength. Right? I have a mantra. I have a saying that I say over and over and over again. And when I'm in difficulties, it helps. It's what I say. It's what I said when I was coming out of my statistic class at UNCC. I would say it over and over and over again because I was having such difficulty. I've said it over and over and over again when I've been personally attacked. I've said it over and over again when the difficulties were so hard. I didn't know if I'd make it. I didn't realize it was a drinking song until somebody to me, which is kind of funny that my mantra is a drinking song since I'm a recovering alcoholic. So the chorus of the song, and you may know it, it works for me. I get knocked down, but I get up again, and they'll never, ever keep me down. I get knocked down, but I get up again, and they'll never, ever keep me down. My difficulties will not keep me down. I refuse it. I refuse it. And I'm not saying it's not hard. It's one of the hardest things I have to do, walking through difficulties, because I don't want to. I don't want to feel pain. I don't want to be lonely. I don't want to be dissatisfied. I don't want hardship. But I know it happens. I hate to tell you this, but hardships come to all of us again. It's just part of life. What are we going to do with it is the question. How can we flip it to something different? And that's what I want to talk about now. Joy. Joy is a feeling of inner gladness, delight, or rejoicing. This inner gladness leads to cheerful heart. I like this part. And a cheerful heart leads to behavior. The most important attribute of joy is that you can find joy in adversity. We can find joy in the midst of our hardship. It's hard. I'm not going to tell you it's not hard. It is hard. It is hard to reach out there and grab a hold of something that is so different than anything we have experienced before. 6 months before I had this incident at the group home, I moved in with a friend of mine that I worked with, and she had gotten sober 6 months before that. And when I moved in, I said, "Listen, I'll pay my rent and clean up after myself, and you don't talk that AA crap to me." And she didn't. She never said to a meeting. She never said, "You know what I heard that would help you?" She never said that I should do something. If I would do something, this would happen. She never did that. But when that evening hit, and I woke up the next morning in despair, who to go to? She didn't talk about recovery. She showed me joy. And that's what I wanted. Joy as opposed to the hardship I was going through. I wanted happiness as opposed to the hell I was walking in. She had joy and I wanted it. And as I traveled this journey in the beginning, I saw people that were joyful. They confused the crap out of me because I didn't understand it. The more I hung around happy people, the more I took action to get over that difficulty, walk through that difficulty. The more I hung around these people, the more they taught me. Right? I had to be willing to learn. I had to be ready to learn. But these individuals, happy, showed me what they did to be happy. And I will forever be grateful for that. I didn't know and I had to learn. So I surrounded myself with people who knew the answer I wanted. People who lived joy. And as I began to take action to get through my difficulty, I was able to find that joy, to find that relief from the hardship. I can't tell you how wonderful it is on the other side. I can't explain it. I just don't have the words for it. But I'll be sitting in my office and someone will come in and share the most difficult story about what they're going through. And it seems like everything is going wrong in their world. And I'm sitting there grinning. And they're like, "What the hell are you grinning for?" I know at the end of hardship, if we get back up, joy will be. And I know that for that person. I know that because it is always darkest before the dawn. It's always darkest before the dawn. It seems like when I'm on the edge of great joy in my life, everything comes against me. You know how I can tell when something good's going to happen? All hell breaks loose before. These difficulties strengthen me. These difficulties teach me. They haven't broken me. I'm not broken. I'm in recovery today. And the action I take will enhance the probability that I can be joyful. And things I did was get connected to a higher power, something bigger than me that I could grab a hold of that would strength to get through. It's different for everyone. No matter what you call it, the higher power, God, the universe, whatever, grabbing that thing help. I connected to people in my life. I did an inventory. I took a look. Remember what it says to journal. Took a real look at the hardship in my life and brought it on so I can learn not to do it again, so I can learn a better way. Also made amends where necessary. That brought me great relief. I had harmed so many people, and to be able to go to them, not to say I'm sorry, because I said I was sorry so many times that it didn't count anymore. Not to say I'm sorry, but to ask, to say, I regret what I did. How can I make it right in your eyes? To get that burden off me was a tremendous into being joyful. And we find our own way into joy. We find our own way to peace. But we can have people help us. Remember, we're not alone today. And I love that. From hardship to joy is a trek. It's a little journey. And I promise we can get there. I know that we can learn. I know we can change. And change is what happened to me. I went from hardship to joy. It's not joy all the time. Stuff still happens. Difficulties arise. But I'm stronger than I'm stronger than I was 30 years ago. I'm stronger than I was last week. I'm stronger every day that I face adversity and get to the other side. I want you to find joy today. Find the lesson. Find what I need to learn in that situation so I don't have to go through it again. Nothing has to be wasted, not even every hardship, every difficulty, every horrible event that we've been through can help us understand ourselves better and help us get stronger every time. Hardship is not the end. Hardship is really, it's what makes me willing. It's what makes me ready to do something different. So let your hardship, and I'm going to try this too, be a blessing. Know that it's coming. And I don't usually do this, but it fits. It says, and I have no idea where it is, do not fear nor be dismayed. Tomorrow go out and face them, for your HP is with you. Your higher power is with you. I know that today. I know that it's darkest before the dawn, and that I have survived every difficulty, every hardship, every hell I've been through. 100%. 100% of the time I survived. Right? You got this. You're not alone. You're not alone. One way that you can help that we can help ourselves get to the other side is finding that support, finding those people to vent, finding those people that care about us. It's the warm line. Start with the warm line. We can help in the middle of chaos. We may be able to take a step back and think a little more clearly about the situation. We may be able to tell the strength that you're going to get as a result of this. We will listen. We will listen. And we will love you through till you get to the other side. We'll show you joy. Find those people that are happy. So figure out how they do it and do what they do. From hardship to joy is a journey, but it's worth it. Every pain I've had doesn't have to be wasted. Learn from it, and if I could help another person. Warm line, get the support. It helps. It helps. The number is 833-390-7788. Give us a call. Let us support you. Right? You're not alone. I don't want to thank you all for being here today. Oh, let me see chat. I'm so sorry. Who do we have? Kim. We got Kim in the house. Roberta. Reggie. Everybody's saying good morning. Tanisha's through. We keep pushing through. I keep rising strong against negativities. I'm learning from these circumstances. Yes, that's what we want. I'm finding peace and joy even during loss. I lost my job this week and it hurt me a lot, but I am learning to grow from this. Learning to grow from this. I love that. I love that. I love recovery. Y'all know that. I'm thinking about it. And I love to see somebody else through a hard. Builds me too. All right. Go out there. Find your joy. Find your people. Find your peace. All right. See you next week. Joy. We'll see you later.